Let's do it.
This is the SEC Insider Hit. And it's presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Well, I want to say good morning to you and to Jason, I guess, and to whoever I just scared down at Beagle Bagel. I'm sorry. I walked around the corner, and a lot of times people don't know we're here. And God bless that young little dude. He was, was like, sorry, man, I got to get some hot water. And smells great down there. Fresh bagels, fresh cookies, desserts, cinnamon rolls. Yummy, yummy, yummy. We are the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN. We're brought to you by Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center, MississippiSportsMedicine.com. Fortification in Belhaven, Lakeland Drive, Flowood. That's the new surgery center and clinic, and they just expanded, and also up here in Madison, right off Highland Colony, kind of over there near the men's clinic and Juniker Jewelry Store. Now, here are our guests for the day. We're going to go with Mike Detillier at 8:30, 1 hour from now. Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. And then at 9:30, we will welcome Governor Tate Reeves to the show. He'll be live in studio. And we're looking forward to having the governor back in studio. He's a huge sports fan, played college basketball. Governor Tate Reeves will join us at 9:30. You can watch that on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. That's our channel. YouTube, Out of Bounds Sports. Now, the SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue, the official healthcare provider of the Out of Bounds Show. All right, so Jason, this weekend, Mississippi State and Auburn are going to play, and that is a mid-afternoon game, 2:30 SEC Network, and Ole Miss will host Vanderbilt. They get a bye. Ole Miss will host Vanderbilt at 6:30 on the SEC Network. Now, next weekend, that was announced yesterday, right when we got off the air, and next weekend, which is like huge, for Ole Miss, and big for State as far as bowl, but Ole Miss is already going to a bowl. They're trying to play their way to something pretty big. Ole Miss will host A&M at 11 a.m., right after game day. And then Mississippi State will host Kentucky at 6:30 at night. I'm a big fan of 11 a.m. games, whether I'm attending or watching. So a lot of people don't agree with that. I understand. I love an 11 a.m. game because in Starkville, I can roll out of bed, be there, get to the stadium at, 10:30, maybe a little hungry, get a little food, game kicks off, day's going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I choose I want to tailgate after the game, may stop by, but may go back, lock in, watch games. Fire up the grill.
Okay.
All right?
I could see that.
Now, the 8 o'clock night game, no bueno.
Oh.
I already did that. Mississippi State, Bama. It's a terrible time slot. No thanks. 6:30, I'm fine with. That's fine. Hang out, do what you want. A week from now, not this weekend, but next, I'll watch the Ole Miss Rebels take out, maybe put the nail in the coffin of Jimbo Fisher.
Ooh.
And then we'll have some other games. That's a big weekend, by the way. Throughout the day, may hit the tailgate. Not committing. I'm only committed to Wendy and my family and the show. And then I'll go to the stadium.
But see, I see you're thinking long ball. You're thinking long game. You get out of the game, and then you still have the rest of your day. You can go watch other games.
But I've loved the 11. If you've listened to this show, I've loved the 11 a.m. time slot for a long time.
But see, I think that the best argument for the opposite is when people were like, yeah, but when you're tailgating, if you tailgate before the game, it rides less on the success of the game and more on just in the Junction, in the Grove, having fun.
Okay, so I hate to lose.
Okay,
but,
yes, of course,
but
of course.
If I'm gonna tailgate and have fun, I'm gonna tailgate. And have
You'll
fun.
do it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a power tailgater. But I'm not sure I ever have been, but I've tailgated a lot in the Grove, in the Junction, and other places. Alabama, LSU, Auburn, so on. Saints games. But I'm just not as mad at it. But now this time of year, for the Rebels, especially with what's going on there, next weekend the weather could be amazing. And this weekend, Ole Miss is it's a bye week. So, you get to go out. You don't have any worry. You go out to the Grove. You get your I don't care if it's sweet tea or a Tito's and lemonade. Or for you, an ice cold Busch Light.
You know it.
And it's just chill factor.
Yeah,
You're a 25.5 point favorite over a team that shouldn't even be in Power 5.
It dropped on Vegas Insider, by the way. Lines are moving. Money's coming in. It's minus 24.5 now.
My point is, you've got to buy this week.
Yeah.
You can go to the Grove. You don't have to worry about a thing. 99% of the fans won't know one player on the team, Vanderbilt.
Right.
Or who Clark Lee is. They think Clark Lee just sold him an RV.
Yeah, I was just about to say, yeah.
Outside of Tupelo.
Helped him
Clark
refinance.
Lee has the biggest RV dealership or maybe, I don't know, Clark Lee could have an RV dealership in Corinth. That way you get kind of a 3-state area.
Okay, not like Kosciuszko, but like Corinth or...
Kosciuszko could work. I kind of like Corinth, but I'm not mad at Kosciuszko, and here's why. They have a Spring Street Cigars, and it's really cool. Really, really, really cool that they have a Spring Street cigar. They also have one in Oxford, if you're up there this weekend. Starkville, I'm going today because I have a meeting tomorrow, and Teddy's going to make me go to Spring Street Cigars. Probably going to get lost this afternoon for about an hour and just do the zen. You know what I'm saying?
That's the way to do it.
I know.
Is it down in the district? Or are you like up, like, are you kind of perched a little bit?
It's downtown Main Street, right by Restaurant Tyler in the Speakeasy guest room.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's right there.
Gotcha. So
nothing to it.
So
they went into an old, it's beautiful. Out of all the Spring Streets, it's the coolest, but all Spring Streets are cool, but it's 2-story. Brick, beautiful high ceilings, beams. It's really not 2 bars, bar downstairs, bar upstairs, 3 different lounges. It's really nice. I have met so many people. Look, there's Ole Miss guys from Atlanta that come over from Atlanta to the Starkville Spring Street just to see Teddy because he's such a character and personality. He's a wonderful person. And they'll spend the night there, and then they go to Oxford.
Wow,
and they're
really?
great. They're it's a lot of fun to hang out with them. But they met Teddy at Spring Street in Oxford.
Okay,
and then Teddy now he kind of roams around to all, but he's in Starkville the majority of the time. He goes down to Meridian too.
Gotcha. Well, I was reading. I think tomorrow is National Get Your Producer a Cigar Day. I think I read
really?
that. I think I read that,
is that
somewhere.
Official?
Yeah, I think I read that somewhere.
Is that fiction?
No, that's official. That's. I'll type it up after the show if you want if you want me to.
Okay.
I'll make an official press release. That's what I'll do.
Okay. All right.
I think this is the week. I think this is the week I get a nice cigar.
Is that is it kind of, did you just is that fiction like the Sandra Bullock movie?
That's a good movie. Still a good movie.
Blindside? Or is this real?
Blindside is still a good movie. Okay. And tomorrow is National Get Your Producer a Cigar Day.
All right. Spring Street Cigars, I'll bring you a cigar.
Now we're talking.
That looks a little over your skis as far as,
Too much class? Is that what you're saying? Come on.
Have you ever smoked a cigar?
Of course.
Above a Swisher Sweet?
Yes. Okay. Whoa. Take it easy. Yes, of course. I smoked one on the golf course. What was that? Not over the weekend, but the weekend before that. Whenever we were playing some golf with my Tito's bag, and I looked like the coolest guy on the course.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I'll smoke a cigar, chew on it for a little bit, smoke it,
right,
and just hang out. Especially with a little glass of like that Wilderness Trail that you gave me.
Oh, you got to be careful doing that on the golf course.
Oh no, not on the golf course.
Yeah.
I don't do that on the golf course.
Got it.
No, because you already think my golf game is bad. Whoa, I'm not doing that.
All right. Okay, so let's switch gears and get into, although cigars is tied into sports. Let's switch gears and get in maybe not hardcore sports, but let's get into a little SEC football this morning. Brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue, the official healthcare provider of the Out of Bounds show, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi. Now, the two big stories are, what can Lane and Ole Miss accomplish this year? Can they win out and go 11-1? Will they lose at Georgia, go 10-2? Or will they fall to A&M and Georgia and go 9-3? Now, for these two teams, all three scenarios are good, but when you are where you are right now, you want it all.
Of course, yeah.
Can you get to the West? Can you get to Atlanta in the last year of the East-West? Now, after this year, we're going to take number 1 and number 2. So that will be over. Now, we should have done away with the divisions years ago, but we didn't. And so Ole Miss, who's drawn Vandy since 1992, and they draw them this weekend, which is a bye, they are trying to get to Atlanta. Bama has to lose twice, and Ole Miss can't lose. So you're rooting, like Jason was rooting for Tennessee last weekend when they were up 2 scores.
Yes.
Jason's rooting for LSU to go to Tuscaloosa next weekend and beat Bama, and then Hugh Freeze to beat Bama at Auburn.
Not impossible, right?
I mean,
probably a 10% chance of that happening.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're saying there's a chance.
And then also you have to beat A&M at home and go on the road to Georgia and win.
Piece of cake. Come on. Go ahead and write it down.
So that's the scenario there that you're looking at. Now, if you drop a game because the league is down, you're looking at a hella bowl game. We don't know what's going to happen with the college football playoff, right? A lot of you already think, okay, Georgia's going to be in. They'll run it. They'll take down either Bama, LSU, or Ole Miss in Atlanta. I don't know. But that seems to be what people believe, that Georgia's going to end up, when it's all said and done, as the SEC champions in Atlanta. That Bama doesn't have quite enough, LSU wouldn't have enough, and Ole Miss wouldn't have enough. Now, Georgia has been challenged most teams played out of their minds, not everybody, one game out of the year.
Right.
And Auburn did that against Georgia. And Georgia found a way to win. And you have to ask yourself, will they be challenged again? Now, they do get Tennessee the week before they moved that game. It didn't used to be played then, but they moved that game. And you have Georgia and Tennessee the week before they play Georgia Tech. I think what happened was, Georgia's already had a super soft, easy schedule, and credit to them. Bama did that to themselves. They scheduled Texas. Georgia looked at it and said, we'll just stay with Georgia Tech. They're not a top 60 recruiter. We'll beat them just about every year, and it's going to be good. But Georgia has to go to Tennessee the week before. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with Ole Miss, Bama, LSU in the West. But Georgia has to go to Tennessee the next to last regular season weekend. Who knows? Heupel's got that team, even though they're limited on offense, Heupel has that team believing, playing well, playing fast, playing physical. He's done a good job.
Yes. Oh, without question.
You know what else I was thinking about this morning? By the way, I was batching it last night. Did I tell you?
Oh, no, you didn't tell me you were hanging.
Wendy went to Starkville. So I went to before I get into Houston Nut and Arkansas and what happened after that and what could happen in Arkansas here in a few weeks with, Sam Pittman decided to fire Dan Enos, his offensive coordinator, give him a little bit of buffer. Now there's nobody else in between him, and we're going to kind of see what plays out. They're winless. Auburn's winless. Vandy's winless. So Wendy went to Starkville, and so I was like, all right, what am I going to do? Well, Jeff Norris, who I told you about yesterday, he was my first co-host on the show.
Right.
Okay? And for the first 6 months I did sports talk radio, he was my co-host. Ideally, it would have lasted longer, but he had a full-time job. And we started having kids.
Oh, he was double timing it.
He's just I got lucky that he joined me in the first place. And it was because I was afternoon drive then, 4 to 6. Had I been 7 to 10 a.m., it wouldn't even have worked.
No shot, yeah.
Okay. So Norris turned 50 yesterday, and we had a party at River Hills yesterday.
Ooh.
And his wife was very smart. You know why? She started the party at 5.
Oh.
People who start things at 6:30, 7, the hell are you doing?
I know that's your vibe.
Yeah,
5 o'clock is...
People don't want to go home and come back. We have done 9,000 events in the afternoon. 4:30, 4:30, 5, 4:30. That's when you start things. So that's why I always beat up on Pete Lavin. It's not his fault. I'm like, dude, start M Braves games at 5:30. Catch the dudes coming, out of work. Beer or two, hot dog, nachos, more revenue. Okay. So I went to River Hills for the 50th, and it was a beautiful afternoon. Got to see some people I haven't seen in a while. It was awesome. I go home. What do you think I did?
Ooh. So did you eat at the party?
No.
Okay, so I'm thinking you cooked a steak.
I did.
Steak and potato.
I did French fries in the oven.
Okay. All right, so pretty much there.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it. And
Sit on the patio?
I did.
Okay. I'm on it.
I lit a Fuente from a Havana smoke shop. Actually, I went to Humidor, which is owned by Havana on 80 in Brandon, because I went to Mudbugs on Sunday. But I've already got plenty of Havana smoke shop cigars in my Humidor. But anyway, I grabbed a Fuente, got all that going, turned on Spotify, and turned it up loud.
Oh, you were jamming?
Yes.
Okay.
And I had a great time.
You didn't do Monday Night Football, just straight tunes?
No. I had your Vikings and settle down.
Okay, thank you. Appreciation
I understand
here.
Your first round pick played great last night.
Amazing.
I understand Kirk Cousins, who you always like to dog, played a good football game and made some really good throws.
I'm sorry, Kirk.
And the 49ers, well, they turned the ball over. And, guess what? The NFL's hard. You're not going to win every weekend. It doesn't mean that the 49ers with the boy wonder Shanahan and the Hall of Fame general manager John Lynch are just fine. But congratulations to your Minnesota Vikings. So that's what I did last night as I was batching it.
Ooh, CWR on the text line says, let me guess you had the Black Crows going. I could see that. Or Three Dog Night.
I went 70s.
Okay.
I did.
Respectful.
I did. I had some Earth, Wind, and Fire going early. And I just kind of floated around on, I had no agenda.
Yeah.
And I wasn't worried about anything. We all worry about enough. And so I was just hanging out. It was a, easy, fantastic evening.
CCR is 70s, right? I don't want to get my time frames wrong. Creedence Clearwater Revival?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. Because I was feeling that's kind of patio music right there. Like with the cigar, hanging out, bumping to the maximum.
Oh, my gosh. Bumping to the maximum? I like that.
Bumping to the maximum?
Okay. No, it was a good night. My buddy turned 50, celebrated that, went home, cooked a little steak in the cast iron, smoked a Fuente from Havana Smoke Shop, a little Monday Night Football, a lot of Spotify. It was MS Smart Homes. That thing can get loud. I love it, man. I mean, I think my house was thumping.
Wow. And then you're sitting there thinking like, man, Ole Miss is going to win the West.
Well, I was thinking, is Ole Miss going to try to even up the all-time series against Vanderbilt?
Hey, Vandy had a run in like the early 20th century, like 14 straight. It was like 1920 Maybe it wasn't that many, but it was like Vandy won a lot in a row against Ole Miss.
I don't know if they won a lot, but it was kind of back and forth.
Right.
Yeah. It was unacceptable that y'all allowed that to happen because you're now not going to pull Vanderbilt every year. I mean, it has been the scheduling gift. It has given you a one-game leg up, which one game in football is you only play 12, is huge.
Right.
I talk about this all the time. It's not like college basketball where you play 35 plus. It's not like college baseball where you play 56 games. I mean, Ole Miss has had a one-game advantage on their rival and everybody else in the West. The question is, in the last year of the divisions, East and West, can the Ole Miss Rebels take advantage of playing the cellar dweller of all cellar dwellers, Vanderbilt Commodores, in 2023?
Well, hey, you got to remember there's a couple James Franklin seasons in there, so unprecedented Vanderbilt football, and then a couple Matt Luke seasons in there, which just not a great coach, excellent talent, lost to him. So there are a couple washes in there that I think
there's not.
James
You've been
Franklin,
able to play Vandy 90 times.
That's a lot of games.
You haven't taken advantage of it. Now you're going to get them every other year. So if in 30 years, you'll get them 15 times. That's just a whole different ballgame. Let's hear from our listeners. Will you pull up the all-time series record, please, sir? Thank you, Jason. Ole Miss has a bye this weekend. They play Vanderbilt Saturday night, Vaught Hemingway Stadium. And the mighty Commodores, their coach is Clark Lee, not the one that owns an RV dealership outside of Tupelo. He's actually the head football coach for the Vanderbilt Commodores. We are the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN, brought to you by Superior Foundation. For all your foundation repairs and issues and challenges, and with the drought, goodness gracious, Superior.ms. So Todd Sandridge and Trey Pace, they run the #1 foundation company in Mississippi, Superior.ms. Superior.ms. And who else do I want to give a shout out to? Oh, Bulldog Burger. Lunch today. Bulldog Burger, Lake Harbor in Ridgeland. And they've got a great outside area also this afternoon if you're grabbing, a Stella and a burger. Bulldog Burger, Lake Harbor in Ridgeland. Jason's excited about his Vikings, his Ole Miss Rebels. He believes Kirk Cousins is now better than Dak Prescott. And one more thing.
Oh, Jordan Addison, MVP.
Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
First-round pick out of Southern Cal, who was at Pitt and transferred to Lincoln Riley and became the first-round pick for the Minnesota Vikings. What's the all-time series?
Now I think it's 41-39. Vanderbilt went on a run from 1894 to 1952, where Ole Miss won 3 times.
Okay.
So that's where they get a lot of their wins from. Just by the way.
Okay.
But during the
gift of all gifts, drawing the Vanderbilt Commodores every year until next year.
Yeah.
So it'll be a different ball game. That's for sure. All right, Out of Bounds. The Out of Bounds Show. Jason, if anybody's in the market for a Ford F-150, where do we want them to go? Mack Hike Ford, I-55 North in Jackson. Mack Hike Ford F-150, pre-owned or new. Good morning. Welcome in the Ag Up Equipment text line, 601-885-3776.